What's up, guys? Nike here. Really quick, I wanted to discuss some of the kind of ridiculous and over-the-top reactions that I've seen in the community to the recent balance patch. First thing, a lot of longtime Ellie players are extremely butthurt. It's funny how before the patch, even the most Ellie-centric player would have admitted that Ellie was the most OP damage class in raids and needed a nerf. Now that the nerf has happened, they freak out and try to change history a little bit. Half of them say that yes, a nerf was needed, but they disagree with how ANET did it. The other half are simply just salty at their former OP pet class is kinda normal. I think it's a good place to use a timeout and discuss where Ellie actually is right now. Ellie is still the undisputed top DPS class on big hitboxes. It's still the top class for burst DPS. Ellie is now roughly equal to all the other DPS classes against small hitboxes. However, it should be remembered that Fresh Air Ellies give a buff to their team that raises their total team DPS by about 1,000. That isn't a huge number, but it doesn't show up on benchmark videos. If you add 1,000 damage to every Ellie benchmark video, suddenly they don't seem that bad. So I think people are just overreacting. Next up, Necromancers. What exactly did you guys expect? All of the pre-patch leaks were in agreement that this wouldn't be the patch that made Power Reaper some kind of viable DPS build. All the leaks said that Condi Necro would receive a nice buff, but probably not enough to be a pure DPS build. Well, guess what? The leaks weren't wrong. Whatever disappointment you feel is due to wishful thinking and roleplay that you created in your head. Are you right that Necro is in a bad spot and the devs should have buffed them more? Absolutely, 100% right. They definitely are in a bad spot, and they definitely should have been buffed more. But that fact justifies a very particular response. Unfortunately, the response that most Necro mains seem to be having is that just because it didn't meet their expectations, they are reacting emotionally. Well, I hate to break it to you, these expectations were made by yourself for yourself, and it's not really anyone's problem that your wish list didn't get filled. I can't be too harsh because Necros do have a point. They are really quite awful in raids except for cheesing a few challenge modes. But the reaction should be constructive criticism and beneficial change suggestions and not rage-filled histrionics. Lastly, a lot of players make very emo posts about "here comes the Condi meta, sad face." This is so dumb on multiple levels. First, it's not a Condi meta in the sense that power DPS builds aren't viable. The top power builds are competitive with the top Condi builds. Which profession does better DPS than one another comes down to boss mechanics and player skills. The only thing that is new is that for the first time you have the option to run a full Condi DPS team and expect good results. If anything, we should call this the play whatever profession you want for DPS because they are all roughly equal meta. While accurate, that is a bit of a mouthful though. To build on that point, this is the best balance we've had yet since raids became a thing for profession diversity. For the first time, you can open the LFG and put, quote, "looking for 2 more DPS," end quote, and it doesn't actually matter what class the people who join on are playing, so long as they are using the meta build for that class. That's an unprecedented achievement, and the skills team should actually be commended for it and encouraged to go further by buffing the 2 classes, Rev and Necro, that aren't really included currently. Instead of realizing that a lot of the community is myopically butthurt and that because of their fire camping staff Ellie build isn't considered good anymore. Again, what I want to emphasize, we have the best class diversity we have ever seen in Guild Wars 2 raiding. Is it perfect? No. Necro and Rev still need some love. But I feel like it's unfair to complain about a big move in the right direction for not being big enough. Actually, I take that back. It is fair to complain about it, but constructively. It's not fair to cry about it and make idiotic, butthurt, over-the-top statements about it. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.